Host. Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on a Tuesday at 11:32 a.m., April 13th, the day before the Coinbase IPO. Is it a big deal? Is it not a big deal? Of course it's a big deal. This is a chance for legacy finance to attempt or consider validation of a space that has been developing for over a decade, and a DeFi space that has, in a matter of a year, deprecated their entire legacy financial system technologically, functionally. The products and services make it are far superior in all regards and make legacy structures seem inept, neutered in comparison. You're going to get 4% on a dividend-bearing REIT that has 100 properties and 50 of them are vacant. Yeah, that company's got great cash flow, paying you 4%. A waste of time and effort. It's a tragedy because 4% is a good yield, and you're investing in a company that has real property for real people for real employment. But unfortunately, the system is kind of broken, and supply and demand imbalance has been absolutely just annihilated, and it's just risk and not sustainable, and everything about the legacy system or the status quo, the infrastructure of the country, normal business operations has been placed under a halo of maximum risk. And that's the last thing I'm interested in. And aside from that, I'm interested in opportunity. So I'm seeing much more opportunity in the crypto space. That's the place to allocate value, boys and girls. But there's the deal. Crypto emotions, opportunity overload. What's next? Now, you're seeing this opportunity in the crypto space as compared to the, relatively placid and boring stuff that's available in legacy finance, but you're going to be overloaded, and that's just a reality. And this has happened in 2017, but this is completely different this time. Everything has changed. The world has changed. Financials have changed. There was no M1 debasement like what just occurred in 2020. The last time any monetary debasement occurred like this was in 2008, long before the 2017 bull market that everyone talks about in crypto infamy. This time is different. The world needs options and opportunities and a evolutionary financial system. And what is emerging is not just a next generation financial system. It's a next generation financial ideology that's being deployed in countless systems. I mean, seriously, you got Ethereum, you got Cosmos, you got Polkadot, and you got the lower or less network effect projects that are just all on a very similar path, evolutionary path, to be able to support and facilitate financial transactions that are awe-inspiring compared to the way we operate in the normal world, the legacy financial system. So when you're looking at these new projects, sure, I mean, as let me hit the stream. There's a couple of comments. DigiByte mention this Coinbase IPO. So the general public is like, oh my God, Coinbase is going public. Crypto is real. Oh my God. They're going to see like all these centralized exchange type assets, the old school UTXO assets, which are really great. A lot of UTXO assets deserve a lot of attention. But that's not really why crypto's been hot for well over a year at this point. Yeah, there's a lot of projects that have merit and awesomeness, but in all honesty, it's exactly what I talk about in the focus of my investment portfolio, which is financial products and services that are extraordinary. Anyway, but aside from delving into why the DeFi space is extraordinary, which is what we talk about almost on a daily basis for the last year, let's get this party started. There's a lot of commentary in the stream, and I got to get to everyone. Today's show is sponsored by Change Angel, the non-custodial swap exchange for social goods. Stop depositing on exchanges, not your keys, not your crypto, non-custodial DeFi, or nothing at all. Bam! Let's pop it over to the main screen and see who's in the stream. Got Captain Weber going on. Yes, always a pleasure. Craig in the house. Barry, my man. Wave, yes, good day. Josh, winter in training. Captain Weber hooking it up. AM office hours. This is kind of office hours. This is my public office hours. My way of contributing to people that really need it. And then obviously I have my private office hours that are available and where I can help people in a one-on-one setting. You go on Twitter, you're able to find my office hours link. I haven't posted in a couple of days because I'm absolutely swamped with work, but I'll get back to it, posting about my private office hours offering. And I'm more than happy to help people on a one-on-one basis make better financial decisions, being prudent, being risk adverse or at least risk considerate, and turning your portfolio into a cash generating machine. Every asset in your portfolio should be generating a salary, putting it to work as an employee. Wave Mapper saying going through an entire crypto bear market as maybe emotionally numb to the ups and downs. Yes, that is a consideration, but we don't have to be emotionally numb. What we have to do is compartmentalize and realize that emotions are irrelevant to making a financial transaction, getting in and out of a particular position, but they're valuable because we have emotions regarding sentiment or opinion, whether you like something, a concept or not. And the emotions allow you to structure a portfolio that has a theme and has an ideology and has a meaning. Mentioned in a Twitter post earlier that a portfolio really is a manifestation of your emotions, of your interests and desires and goals. And a portfolio has a life unto itself. It's a living, breathing entity with hopes and dreams and purpose and goals, so on and so forth. Lewis is in the house. Always a pleasure, brother. I love the title of the stream. When I pursue, I Telegram and Discord and Reddit. That's the name of the game to gain sentiment understanding. Everyone is flipping out because they own too much of the wrong thing. And that's what happens. Folks end up chasing assets that are going up. And that's exactly what you'll see. I mean, Ripple is just a classic example of something that just goes absolutely insanely parabolic because it's dirt cheap. And the narrative is it's going to replace the entire financial system with a perfect settlement layer. I love Ripple in that regard, and I think the way the validating network works, that it's non-incentivized, has an extraordinary functionality. Do I think a nation state is going to adopt it as a CBDC, central bank digital currency? Not a chance in hell. They're going to build their own, control their own, and maybe they'll even do a hostile takeover of a public blockchain in order to do so. In theory, a nation state could completely just take over Ripple and just make like 5,000 validators. And if someone tries to add more validators, the government could just add another 10,000. And then they have complete control over the blockchain. They could do whatever they want. They could set whatever parameters they want, so on and so forth. And that's just what's probably going to happen at some point, at least with one nation state or another. Obviously, many of them are going to want to build their own CBDC, and that's exactly what China's doing with the digital yuan. They're building whatever they want. But the kicker is China's plugging into the BSN, their national blockchain initiative, and they're totally creating an interoperability with all the public blockchains. China is by far the most advanced nation on earth, executing a national blockchain strategy. One, they're public about it. Two, they are pedal to the metal. And they are making progress. They are plugged in and they understand and see where it's going, and they have drive and ambition, and they're doing it. And that should really put the United States in a position of fear. And that's exactly what was published in an article, I believe, like a day or two ago. Folks are talking about Biden having hesitation about China, the digital yuan. Yeah, I've been talking about it for the better part of a year at this point, ever since the BSN launched. The BSN, if you go on Twitter and you look up the BSN, it's the National Blockchain Initiative of the Chinese government, and it's public and it's incorporating it all. Centerpieces like Ethereum and Cosmos, and the list goes on, and I don't even, you go look up the list nowadays, and it's probably all of them. And what project am I most bullish on with regard to the Chinese initiatives is probably Cosmos and their IBC and their interblockchain communication IBC. Let's keep it going. James is in the house. Pellets, what's up? Stay's in the house. So stay as in Stee, not stay. Stee is in the house. Sorry, brother. I gotta read before I talk. Winner in trading, 25 in the chat. Smash them likes. 43 in the stream now. 14 likes. We can do better. Digitronics in the house. You're awesome, Noah. So grateful to have you in the community. That's right. I am part of the Digi community as well, and the crypto community. Montana in the house with the king. The emoji. Thank you kindly. Drew, what happens to crypto side DeFi when legacy side dives? Yeah, in my opinion, the legacy side isn't going to dive. I think broad equity index markets are just going to go parabolic. I show charts on Twitter often. When you denominate everything in M1, which is basically the debasement of the United States fiat, the dollar, uh, everything's positioned to go parabolic. And that is, you know, I could do an entire stream on looking at the Nasdaq or the S&P 500 denominated in M1, and basically it's the same thing that happened at the end of 2008, and a little bit in between the 10-year run, but mostly in 2008 the debasement started occurring. And everything is really positioned to go extraordinarily parabolic from the Nasdaq to the S&P, which is fascinating because everyone thinks it's so bullish. Yeah, so the price go up, but the value of it has been obliterated, destroyed. It's literally like a collapse. If you're looking at S&P, uh, uh, Nasdaq, whatever, Dow Jones, gold, silver, bonds, 2-year, 10-year, 30-year. You're looking at TLT junk bonds or whatever. It's been destroyed. The value of gold has been destroyed. And it's fascinating when you look at things from an M1 standpoint, which is basically the monetary supply, which is the global reserve, the monetary supply of the global reserve currency of planet Earth. And that's where the value is. That's the settlement layer for the planet. And until that changes, that is the status quo, and we can look at things from that vantage point, from the M1 reference point. And relative to M1, the only thing that's there's a lot of things that are actually outperforming M1, interestingly, and a lot of the tech stocks are Tesla, of course, and Microsoft. There's a slew of them, but the crypto space, it's all outperforming M1, which is downright fascinating. Because when you look at the broad equities markets, they're been like a catastrophe, an absolute catastrophe. What has occurred in the charts? Anyway, I digress. I digress. Captain says, who handles the interoperability for the BSN? Cosmos, IrisNet. In my opinion, I mean, clearly there's a lot of other pieces, but I think Cosmos and IrisNet are in the best position to facilitate interoperability. That's literally what the IBC and what Cosmos is designed to do, facilitate blockchain interoperability. My man Steve, it's all good. 2710 in the house. Gonzo, what are your thoughts? I got lots of thoughts. Been spinning thoughts. I don't stop spinning thoughts. But my wife says it's a curse, and hopefully it's a good thing. How are we going to be LPing once Uni 3 goes into effect? That's right. That's the name of the game. It's not a game for the pros because there's going to be third-party providers that are facilitating LPing on Uniswap V3 and their NFT LP tokens, which is exactly my risk-on plays right now. I've mentioned a couple of times historically where I go risk on, and it's few and far between. It's not often, and I last did that with Rook at 65, rode that thing to 800, made changed my portfolio in many regards, the amount of capital that I was able to accumulate, and which is no discredit whatsoever to the awesomeness of Rook. It's just that it's worth hundreds of dollars at this point, and it's no longer a new project that has a lack of network effect. The crypto space knows about it, knows what it's doing. It has the potential to do a 10x. Whoopie-doo. I don't want something that everyone's looking at. I want an asset that nobody's looking at, and that's exactly what Rook was at like 65. Clearly, there's two stages of nobody's looking at something. It's like when it was initially launched, Rook was like $10 in like November, and then it ramped to like 50, 60, 70, $80 in like December, so on and so forth. I don't go for the stuff when it's just launched most often, like rarely ever. no IPOs. I don't do things like that, ICOs. So I wait for a little bit of attention first, and that means that I got in at the perfect position, consistent with my methodology and ideology for Rook. Was after a first display of potential to the markets, and the markets were able to get a sense of what the heck's going on. And that's kind of the sentiment that I get right now with two particular assets. I'll mention all three. Yeah. XToken, Visor Finance, and obviously Mist. I don't have a Mist position. You can't own everything you want to own. But XToken and Visor, I have what I would consider very large speculative bets. They're actually larger, each one individually, than my Rook plays. But here's the difference. XToken, for instance, has they're distributing liquidity, and you're able to stake for hundreds of percent yield. And you throw around some capital in this thing, and it's just pouring in. So I get like 2,500 X tokens a day from this thing. And to top it all off, you don't have to be just exposed to XTK. You could literally acquire an X token position just by having 1inch and Ethereum, KNC and Ethereum, Aave and Ethereum, or SNX and Ethereum. You literally don't even have to buy one XTK asset to acquire your XTK position. You're just positioning your already existing or other assets of interest, and you're able to accumulate a pretty solid XTK position. This thing is not even no critical mass whatsoever. No one's talking about it at all. It's completely off the radar and entirely. It was at $14 million and is dormant on Coinbase Day, so to speak, or pre-Coinbase Day. No one's looking at this thing. And this is exactly the type of asset that I'm interested in. 14 mil, no one's looking at it. Visor 916, nobody's looking at it at all. Another 14 mil asset. So I put a bunch in there. This thing's spitting out like 500-600 Visor a day. It's like another $200-300 based on the current price of the asset per day. So this is my point. So I might want to get into a speculative risk-on position, but I kind of restrain myself unless there's a lucrative opportunity for cash flow. So one, this is price stabilized. So you're pairing in a Uniswap pool, which offers stability and also a massive incentive to provide that liquidity. And to top it all off, the emissions are obviously going to asymmetrically appreciate. This is a microcap asset that's in position to facilitate Uniswap V3 fungibility. My God. What am I missing in the stream? Let's keep it going. So that was a big answer to John's question, and that's exactly the play I think nobody's looking at. Because right now, everyone's Coinbase, they're new entrants, they're looking at the stuff that's on Bittrex, the stuff that's on Coinbase and Gemini that people could buy, and that has nothing to do with anything like this. They don't understand Uniswap. They have no idea what DeFi is, so the entire market is on fire with emotion and irrationality and irrational exuberance, and this stuff's entirely off the radar. But guess what? When the narrative changes and next month and Uniswap V3 launches and 100,000 people that have liquidity positions are like, what the hell is this NFT that I got? How do I sell 10% of it? And they have no idea what they're doing, and then it's going to be too late. And that's exactly what's going to happen with these particular assets. Assets like this are off the radar until they're completely on the radar. This fits into what I like about certain assets and certain opportunities is there's a timeline associated with this asset and XTK as well. It's next month. And it has one of the biggest macro narratives in the entire DeFi space, providing strategic yield-bearing positions that are far superior to what's currently possible, by the way, because of V3. But also, it's not active yet. Nobody has been forced to digest Uniswap V3 NFT LP positions. Nobody's encountered it yet. All we've seen is some documentation. And you know damn well the vast majority of people participating in the space don't read a drop of documentation. They look at CoinGecko and they see price go up and they buy price go up. And that's exactly why an asset like this is off the radar of everybody. Everybody. Awesome sauce. Gonzo, no idea what WGR is. Pellets, what about charting things versus Fed balance sheet? So yeah, I like that as well. But you know, M1 is comparable. You're going to have pretty much the same destructive presentation and distortion in the chart. It's going to be comparable. So as the balance sheet increases, the odds are they're quantitatively easing and basically doing their bank reserve shelf game and you know, juicing M1, so to speak. So pellets, you get about the same effect on the chart. Scripts in the house, always a pleasure. What's up, Noah? 1 million DGB in the REN DGB 1-inch pool. Does it say 60% APY, 28 days? So bear in mind, it's not 60% APY over 28 days. It's 60% APY for, and the pool is running for 28 days. So divide by 12 and you get about 4% interest per month. So that's the way the APY, and it's not APY. So they actually display it wrong. It's APR because your emissions are denominated, they're not compounded. They're denominated in big DigiByte and or REN DGB and 1-inch. So it's not auto compounding, it's not APY, it's APR. But that's the only deal. You know, it's really cool to see REN DGB get some attention, but there's no one. DigiByte's missing network effect. It doesn't have any. It has a community, which is wonderful. It has incredible pieces of the puzzle that are extraordinary, and it has just the most awesome, breathtaking history and just one of the most awesome UTXO parameter sets I could possibly think of. It's missing network effect. It's plugged in ever so slightly into DeFi. What it's missing 100% is monetary velocity. There's no velocity. There's no incentive systems. There's no inflation and deflation, which is not a bad thing from the UTXO protocol perspective. You don't want inflation. In fact, DigiByte is the same as Bitcoin in some regards. It's a decaying inflationary UTXO chain, and that's cool. What you need is DeFi to introduce deflationary components and the incentive system to create the monetary velocity, which is the lending and the borrowing and the churn of capital. So what does that? Aave. You need Aave. Aave is basically the money market of the crypto space. It's basically the banking system, next level, iterated. It's the next generation of banking, turning individual participants, individual market participants into micro banks. It takes the power away from the banks and gives it to the individual. So getting REN DGB or any asset for that matter on Aave juices monetary velocity through the roof. It's going to get people minting the crap out of REN DGB. They're going to use it as a collateral asset to leverage capital. If I could buy, and even more so, you also need dollar stabilization and additional pooling. You know, 1-inch is a nice pairing. It creates liquidity for the asset, contextually relevant to 1-inch, but what you need is an Ethereum pairing and obviously a USDC pairing for dollar stabilization. But at least if you get on Aave, you're able to buy 10 grand worth of DigiByte, mint it into REN DGB, jam it on Aave, and borrow $3,000 in cash to do something else with, hopefully generate yield from a sustainable source. That's the name of the game. Have you heard of Strudel Finance? As in strudel, the food? Oh, I'm not. Come on, I can't. I can't. Pastry finance, Baker's Delight finance. I'm sure there's another wrap BCC called BPTC. Of course, it's very risky. It's not something I'm interested in. There's a lot of BTCs. There's HBTC, and I was looking at M Stable throwing around ridiculous incentivized yields of 22 to 68% on MBTC and HBTC, and you could deposit REN BTC directly. For me, I'm not touching any of this stuff. I would definitely not touch Strudel Finance. For me, I go for Oasis, which is MakerDAO, and that's old school. That's OG DAI, and this is 2017 type development stuff. This stuff has been in development for years. and I'm able to leverage my Bitcoin to borrow DAI to generate 30-something% on curve finance, where yield is denominated in CRV and asymmetrically appreciating assets. Oh, that's completely off the radar of all these people that are FOMO-ing Coinbase. They have no idea. 30%. So DGB paired to Aave, not paired to Aave, depositable on Aave. Markets. So what RenDGB will be like is, this takes a while and it's not an opportune time to connect. All right, good, it loaded. So RenDGB will be comparable to RenBTC. In fact, the proposal should look identical. So look at this. No one's borrowing RenBTC. The deposit APY is 0.04%. This is a collateral asset. It's identical to RenDGB. So people provide this because they're able to borrow stable coins and they're able to leverage their position, access the equity, which means they can store value in the asset. It'll disrupt circulating supply and it'll generally cause price appreciation for DigiByte. That's the way it works. Future of sporting bets, private, no limit. Okay, done. I like it. I like sporting bets. I have no interest. I like it. I'm more interested in financial products and services. Still digesting all the knowledge dropped on me from our office hours chat yesterday. Thanks again, Noah Cruz, my man. Folks, I've talked to a lot of folks over the last week or two. And it's been extraordinary. Folks are open, they're interested, they want to do things differently. And I could safely say or confidently say there's no perfect way to do any of this stuff. There will always be a struggle to make a better decision. You'll end up clicking $200 worth of transactions to get into a position, and you'll be like, I want to do something else. There goes another $200 to get out and another $200 to get into another position. So what I strongly suggest, depending on your portfolio size, is to be a little bit more cautious, a little bit more proactive and prudent. Exercise more or excess due diligence before executing these types of transactions. If it's a smaller portfolio, you don't want to burn as much in gas fees. So the most important thing is to try and to experiment and take $50 out of Coinbase, get it onto your Ledger device, and out of Coinbase, you could get USDC. Out of Gemini, you could get GUSD. Get those stable coins out onto your Ledger device and then go over to Aave and put it in Aave. Aave V2. You get 10% on USDC, spot rate, of course. So just try it. Then the clicks, and you're going to spend money on gas, but the whole point is now you know what buttons to click and you know what to try. And then you see how it works, and that Aave is giving you real time yield every second. You literally see the number go up, just like you're seeing right here. The number just goes up, and that's exactly what happens with your deposited funds. And then you'll start to get a taste of the power of a recurring revenue stream, and then hopefully you'll get addicted to actually just getting money and not necessarily having to bet speculatively on an asset going up in price, but just watching money come in. And then you realize the money that's constantly coming in is cash flow, and that's work. It's the same thing as you going to work and them paying you for your time, except this time your money's going to work as an employee and it's making you money. And that's exactly what cash flow is all about, and that's why I talk about cash flow. Dr. T, you did great yesterday. Get it on the ledger. Just try and experiment and be careful. Cross your T's, dot your I's, double check everything. Security and confidence is everything. And always start small. When you're experimenting, tiny, tiny, tiny. Avoid risks, avoid errors at all costs. It's imperative to get everything as right as possible, make little to no mistakes, because in the end, if we don't try, you know what I'm saying, got to try. Not trying is the only failure. Not doing anything is the only failure. Keeping your money in fiat, in dollars in a bank account, is not trying, and it leads to failure. Robert Kiyosaki talks about that well enough. 15% guaranteed loss of money per year speaks to exactly what it means to keep your money in a bank account. You're guaranteed to lose the money no matter what you do. So you have to try. You have to try to get that 15% and to outperform it. Pellets, so I can stake my Aave ETH balance and position at XTT to get XKT. Exactamundo, that's the name of the game. And to top it all off, your Aave Ethereum is going to give you 324% until these LP positions run out. I don't think they go for much longer. I don't have the exact time frame, but it's hundreds of percent. I mean, this thing has spit out 3,000. KNC spit out. That's it. I thought I put more in there. All right, by the way, the captain, I took a KNC position because I can make 300% on it. 283. So I got 220. Oh, yeah, I just added to this yesterday. So 361. But the 1 inch position, I got 7,000. XTK is 6,000. It's just spitting out free assets. Now, bear in mind, there's more assets. The monetary policy is relevant to understand for XDK versus Visor. Visor actually has a more restricted max supply, but both of them just look totally appetizing with regard to their market focus, product fit, and even their initial tokenomics in some regard. So we just gotta, you know, that's the name of the game. Risk adjusted returns. These are small positions in my portfolio, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about both of those, I believe, at around 5% total of the portfolio. Right, maybe 5 to 10%, let's say. But that's not the entirety of a portfolio, but in order to make gains and experience asymmetrical portfolio growth, you take a big concentrated bet. So 10% of the portfolio, if there's a malfunction or some sort of failure, it hurts, but that doesn't destroy anything. I still got a solid income stream from the rest of the portfolio. Every single asset in the portfolio is generating cash flow, serious cash flow. Big Papa needs to pay his taxes. I need cash flow. So I extended my taxes until October to accumulate the capital to pay it. No one needs more subs and viewers. Thank you, Script. 51 people in the stream, 21 likes. We can do better. Any thoughts for Thorchain or Cosmos? Cosmos is big deal. I'm up like 600% on Cosmos. Thorchain, yeah, there's potential there. It's hot. It's a hot asset. It's just not on my radar. I just them launching with on Binance just destroyed my interest. But there's great opportunity. I mean, look at BNB. It just got killed everything. It's because it actually has a network effect, and people are spending and wasting their money on the platform, and there's monetary velocity, and it's hot. That's a massive market cap. People have made a fortune with BNB. Here's the kicker. I don't care. I just have no interest in it. It just is off my radar. People can make the fortune all they want. I'm happy for people that make capital or capital gains. It's just not of interest to me at all. Let's wrap it up in a couple seconds. Let me hit everyone's script talking about, hidden gem. Thank you. I just want to help. I've learned a lot, and folks need to make better decisions. Noah, look at XRP BTC. No bullish crosshead. Yeah, XRP is going to go up, up, and up. I have no interest in it. Happy for folks that are making cash. I can't buy it. I go on 1 inch exchange. I can't buy it, so I don't care about it. I have no interest in logging into a centralized exchange. And can I pair XRP with the USDC in order to have dollar stabilization? No. Can I generate revenue with XRP? I can't do shit with it. It doesn't fit anything of interest to me. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Focus on your portfolio, respect your portfolio, and it'll respect you. It has no place in a portfolio like mine. I don't care if it goes up 1,000%. It goes to $200. I don't care. I don't care. It has no business in my portfolio. I need cash flow. I need to replace work. I need the portfolio to be working for me so I don't have to work. That's the name of the game. That's my focus. Chet, my man, in the house. Hit them like buttons. I appreciate it. Script. Well, it would be easier to establish REN, DGB, Bancor. Both would be equally complicated. You need a person with a significant amount of Aave and Bancor in order to list the proposal. And then you need to rally the community, which requires persons that hold Aave and Bancor to vote on the proposal to pass it. So the biggest burden, unfortunately, is that the DigiByte community is they're old school UTXO folks, and most have not touched DeFi at all. And that's a hard one because you need people that have large Aave and Bancor positions. You need a whale. You need whales, and you need the community that has the smaller amounts to vote on the proposal. But you need 1,000, 5,000 people that are able to push these types of proposals through the governance platforms. And yeah, can you speak on your longer term plans with EPS? Yeah, I plan to lock my EPS every week, and every couple of days, I plan to take my interest, sell it for USDC, and take it off Binance Smart Chain before they block every other country and shut down the validators, and no money could ever get out again. I have no interest whatsoever in sending any capital at all to BSC. The Ellipsis has been extremely lucrative, producing a couple $1,000s a week in literally USDC profits, and so I'm grateful for that in many regards. But I just have no interest in Binance Smart Chain. Chad, what are the best pairs for maximum DeFi gain, safe amount of risk? Let's start with Capital and Aave. That's risk off. That's crypto banking. And then I'd argue Yearn and Curve positions backed by Armor Insurance. You get an insurance policy, which is actually basically a very lucrative thing because Armor pays out 179% on your insurance premiums. And Curve is just spitting just free cash. I mean, guys, it's just free cash. It's literally like it's just free cash. It's incredible. The monetary policy and the way they built the protocol is just awe-inspiring. How it's been running for a year at this point. It's just free cash. It's cash flow, and it's from monetary policy. They created their own fiat currency with inflationary and deflationary pressures, and it makes central banking fiat currencies look just like, why are they still around? They could do so much better. Why no interest in BSC? Because it's all not decentralized. I just don't have time for it. I don't have, it doesn't fit my risk adjusted interest whatsoever. I don't trust anything on it. I don't trust the centralization. I wouldn't mind running a validator if it could be proven lucrative. So, but the fact that there's no transparency on what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they're doing it. I just have no interest in participating in a centralized blockchain. That one, it's a contrarian concept. Two, it's a waste of my time. You can't play every market. There's going to be so many markets, and there's already so many markets. You only have so much time in the day. No interest in learning whatever the heck's going on because whatever's going on at Binance Smart Chain is comparable to what has happened for the last year in the DeFi space on Ethereum. Uh, Monetary policy. What's the inflation rate? Is there any deflationary pressures? Clearly, Ellipsis is doing it right because they have a decent price point on their asset, yet they're spitting out ridiculously lucrative airdrops and incentives unlocking EPS. So they got monetary policy, right? If you want to play the game on Binance Smart Chain, you do the exact same thing that I talk about with regard to my preferred Ethereum assets. Look at the monetary policy. If you're going to throw something in that's spitting out 5,000, 10,000% compounded or just whatever APR, yeah, it's going to die soon unless there's significant deflationary pressures. It's the same game. You're looking at the monetary policy, treat it as a fiat currency. The problem is there's too much risk. I don't trust it. And I can't, there's no real way to get adequate capital in, even if I wanted to. No interest. I'm more interested in Cosmos and Polkadot for that matter. More interested in Elrond and shit. I'm even more interested in Cardano, and that you can't. There's no DeFi on Cardano, and I literally have no interest in Cardano. So if I have less interest in Binance Smart Chain than I do Cardano, just goes to show you. I'm just saying. Archer DAO, yeah, that's cool. That's what's it called? The Theta network. Cool. No, is that what it is? But point being, All right, it's interesting. It's not on my radar. Inverse finance, I've seen that. I don't know it off the top of my head. Chad, always a pleasure, brother. Using BSA is inherently about as risk on as it can get. You have no idea what could happen. It's uncharted territory. You have no control whatsoever. Yeah, not your keys, not your crypto, not your network, not your crypto, not a public network, not your crypto. So let's wrap it up. 12 p.m. on a Tuesday, April 13th. Tomorrow is Coinbase Day. Don't FOMO. No mo FOMO. Do nothing if you aren't ready to do something strategic or intelligently thought through. Move dollars onto Aave, a crypto bank account that pays you 10% on your money. And then conversate and jump on my one-on-one office hours and we could figure out a plan of action. What is the next step? The last thing you should do is buy the shit that's gone up 10%. Buying Litecoin is up 10%, Stellar 11%, Ripple up 27%. Because you know what it's going to do tomorrow? It's going to dip 15%, and then it's going to go up 30%. You're not going to know how to play these markets. These markets are violent. These markets and the actors in this space are you'd say malicious, but they're aggressive and they will take your money if you're unprepared how to navigate these markets. Just take it, and it'll just you won't know what to do when you buy it. Ripple up 27% and it dips 15% tomorrow, and you're freaking out with emotions, and you sell it, and then 5 hours later it's up 30%. So just be very careful. Stay in touch. Jump on the stream. Ask questions. I don't have a lot of one-on-one hours because I'm just totally swamped, but I do the best I can, and I will continue to help as many people as possible. I wish you all a wonderful day. 44 people in the stream, 26 likes. We can do better. Tell everyone to subscribe, and I will see you again tomorrow for Coinbase Day. Y'all have a good one. Peace.